Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Justin Anderson here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some of the books I've read to kind of learn and understand the path I'm currently taking for financial literacy and financial education. So without further ado, hey, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, especially if you're learning anything or you just plain like the content. So I'm going to be talking about, I think, 5 or 7 books. Let me one sec. Today I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite books. It's going to round off at about 7 with a few additions in there at the end. So the first book I read to understand some of the financial education is actually Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I cannot stress enough how many times I've heard that this book has started people onto a path of financial literacy and financial education. And I find that absolutely, after reading the book, he really talks about, some of his, the two perspectives he had with managing money and understanding money. Rich dad who dropped out of school and started his own real estate company and moved ahead that way, versus his father, who he indicates is his poor dad, who went to school, did all that, got a government job, and then ended up, being poorer off, and it was more difficult for him. Another book I'd like to talk about is book 2. So, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Another great book. It does understanding that there are different ways to make money, especially online and with a minimal footprint and time commitment for you. Some of the other ways that I've kind of learned that actually fit into this into the 4-Hour Workweek are with digital products and actual products. Tim Ferriss talks about how he used a vitamin, and that's how he got started. So he then hired a team to be able to manage that day-to-day, all the day-to-day problems and things that arose from the company, but was able to scale it because he was able to hire other people while continuing to make money. And then he was only hopping on his email, hopping on the computer to check things and do things related to that business, that rounded off at about 4 hours per week. Another book I'd like to talk about is 6 Months to Six Figures. Now, I only have the audiobook for this one. I have not physically read this book, but it's by, what was that name? It was by Peter J. Vogt. I'm saying that name maybe wrong, probably wrong, and I apologize for that. But 6 Months to Six Figures is all just a mindset shift. So recently, in his book, and with another quote from Elon Musk, is he likes to think of his 10-year goals as what he can do in 6 months. Because no matter whatever you end up with, even if you don't attain those 10-year goals, you're still that much further than what your 6 months would have been had you not taken that approach. Which actually really comes down to terms of make your goals, make your 1 month, your 2 months, your 3 month goals, but then multiply them by 10, which is actually another great book, the 10X Rule. But it's all about maximizing how you're thinking about what you can actually attain. Another book that I'd like to mention is How to Retire Off Dividends. Okay, it's by Brett Owens and Tom Jacobs. In the previous video, I indicate that I would really like to grow my dividend portfolio and be able to offset some of that income. So this book really kind of put that into perspective and helped me understand a little bit more about how that makes sense and the tools that I need to know, understand, and attain to be able to make that happen. To retire, you have to be able to somewhat cancel out your current income, right? So the best way to do that is to have that income coming in through something you don't necessarily have to do on a day-to-day basis, Like, I'm not going to have to go and work at a coffee shop or work retail to be able to offset the income I'm getting from, say, a 9 to 5 desk job. This book also discusses compound interest and understanding really the snowball effect of rolling forward your dividends and reinvesting them to continually growing that dividend, so that that money then compounds and grows that much faster than it typically would. I mentioned it earlier. Here it is again. Fake by Robert Kiyosaki. He really goes into understanding the difference between real and fake assets. So what are the things that are actually that you can own that will continually put money into your pocket? He then also talks about how he built his wealth and how he's continually looking to improve and grow that through, for instance, precious metals, because he indicates that money, especially since we've gotten off the gold standard, is really just a good whim. We can still buy everything in day-to-day life, but it has no actual value since it doesn't have anything backing it at this point. Another thing that I've indicated before that I'd like to learn about and understand, and this book kind of helped me understand it a little bit more, is Retire Early with Real Estate. This book is a really good introduction into understanding rental properties and managing a real estate portfolio, and kind of going into how to actually make money with real estate. Because I'm going to say it, a lot of people will disagree, but your house is not an asset. It's not putting money into your pocket. You may be building some equity in it, but until that house is paid off, really, it's not an asset for you just yet. I know that ruffles a few feathers, and that's okay. You can look at it how you would like to look at it, but for me, that's how I'm gonna choose to look at it. And I'm actually I don't want to take credit for that, because that comes from, again, Robert Kiyosaki. But real estate has this crazy way of being able to offset your income based on, charging rent for a property, renting out a property, and then being able to actually overcharge, kind of based on the region's rates and what you're able to get for, paying your mortgage payment and such down on that investment property, then being able to roll some of that add some of that rent into, okay, now it's paying you. Say you make $300 after all expenses and fees on that rental property. You have $300 off to the side that's extra. Well, one, you could roll that into your mortgage payment and pay that mortgage down a little bit faster, or you can pay yourself with that, or use it to proceed to get your next property. Another book I'd like to talk about is Real Estate Note Investing by Dave Van Horn. This book kind of goes into the idea of being able to buy and sell real estate with no money. So the context would be, I would like to, so say you're selling, you're not necessarily looking to sell, your pencil, but I come over to you and I go, hey, I will give you 1/4 for that pencil. And you say, yes, but I need it till the end of the day. I'm like, that's just fine. So I'll write you a note, like an IOU for that. I'll sign it, you sign it, and then I go and I find somebody else that's looking for a pencil, and I say, hey, I'll sell you this pencil that I have for 50 cents. It's a 25-cent profit. Doubled your money pot, possibly. They say, yes, you write this. You say that, you write up the little note, and they agree to pay, and then you grab that pencil for 1/4, and you take it over to the other guy and you deliver it. It's really just a middleman fee. That's really what it is. But you're not purchasing it, and that property is never in your possession, right? It's really not in your possession. But hey, you just doubled your money off that one pencil, right? That's the kind of idea behind real estate note investing. All right. Thanks so much for watching the video. Don't forget, if you like the content, if you're learning anything new, and if I've given you something maybe you want to go read or something of that nature, please don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Hey, also, if you've waited this long, I did say I had a few additional books I wanted to throw to you, and those books are actually going to be the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. You've probably heard of him. The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a great book. You know, it really makes you think. Along with The Alchemist. You know, these are books that have been around for generations. You know, so take a look at them. They're quick reads. They're fast, but some of those, you know, underlying tools and tricks and ways of thinking are just unfound in so many other books and so many other things we do in life. Because let's be honest, school doesn't teach us anything about finances, because most schools have no idea what to do with their own finances. Most teachers, professors, they don't understand finances. If you like what I say, that's fine. If you don't like what I say, click off the video. Another one is actually by Norman Vincent Peale, and that is The Power of Positive Thinking. It kind of actually plays along with Think and Grow Rich, but both those books, they're 100% about a mindset shift and manifestation, which, if you haven't thought about manifestation, it might be more logical than you give yourself credit for, or you give it credit for. But until next time, stay tuned. I think you guys are going to be excited for the next video. Deuces.